Are bugles considered chips? Is Wagyu beef worth it? And what has my guest been up to lately? Well, I talk about all that and more on this episode of the Toddcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Toddcast. As always, I'm your host, Todd McManus, and today is a very special episode because joining me for his 10th appearance, making it double digits here on the Toddcast. Please welcome a good friend of mine and a longtime guest here on the Toddcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. John Wright. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me again.
It's of course, 10 times.
Yeah.
Double digits. We've talked about so much stuff. We reviewed a lot of stuff. Talking about a lot of food and a lot of your trips, you know, and a lot of the episodes you've been on have taken up a good amount of time of the total amount of time that has been recorded. I should definitely calculate how long.
Many hours.
How many hours and minutes and probably days.
Yeah.
Because
at this point,
this is episode 148.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to 3 years.
10 times 2 hours at least. And I know we've gone over 2 hours.
Exactly.
For most of our episodes. That's 20 hours. So we've got at least a day under our belts.
Exactly. So it's like you get 2 more 2-hour ones, and then there we go.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for. And then I can say that.
But, I mean, we've got some 3 and 4 hour ones, or pushing up to 4 hour ones. So we're there.
We got to get there one day.
Yeah.
Just the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So what we're going to start off with first is that we both love food. We like talking about food. And we both like reviewing some food. Now, these two things I have not had before, and you said that you haven't had either of these flavors.
I have not.
So, we're going to go ahead and dive into these two flavors of bugles. Now, first question I wanted to ask you as we look at these. Do you consider bugles as a chip? Or are they, because on the bag it says crispy corn snack. But they're always with the chips.
Yeah.
They're in the same chip bag. They got the same crunch. It's basically just fold a Dorito. If you fold a Dorito like this, it's the same thing.
This is an interesting question.
Would you consider bugle a chip?
Maybe an edible cornucopia?
I don't see that on the bag.
Yeah. I don't know if I would consider that a chip.
Because it's still crunchy and it's like it's made out of the same stuff. Like Doritos are corn chips.
What constitutes a chip? Does it have to be a certain shape? Because I think, like, you've got tortilla chips that are shaped as bowls.
Yeah, Tostitos,
or
and
just
then
the flat circles.
They have the rounds.
This is just
Doritos are triangle.
This is just a mixture between the scoops and the Doritos. It's a cone.
Yeah, like this is
a chip,
and this is a good dipping chip, just like the bowl ones from Tostitos, because you can get a lot of stuff in these holes, and none of it will fall through.
Exactly.
Because it's not a hole all the way through. It's just like a little ice cream cone.
Yeah.
That's all it is, and just dip, and then there you go.
Savory ice cream cone.
Basically what bugles are.
But I think it's a chip. Yeah.
I would also consider it a chip, just because of its chip nature and that it's so much like... Here, I want to open one of these flavors. So the first bag we got, I mean, I've only had regular bugles. I don't think I've had... any other flavor? Get you a whiff of that.
Ooh. There was many different flavors in there.
So, the first one we're going to go with is nacho cheese. We're going with nacho cheese bugles. Are you a nacho cheese chip guy?
Yeah.
Like Doritos?
I would consider myself.
Well, are you? So, with Doritos, nacho cheese or Cool Ranch?
There's opportunities where both of them are necessary.
True.
So, I think Cool Ranch is a better snack, but regular Doritos are better to cook with.
Understandable. Because my mom has made a nacho cheese Dorito casserole.
Yeah, my grandmother makes one. It's really good.
Have you ever tried it with Cool Ranch Doritos?
Yeah, and it sucks.
Well, I think it's the cheese element.
It is.
Because if you do the ranch, it's just too much. I think it's overpowered.
Yeah, it is.
But, I mean, unless you want to do like half nacho cheese, half Cool Ranch, and satisfy anybody who wants the Cool Ranch ones, I guess. But
I feel like that at that point you would eat them with things that you eat ranch with. Like maybe crush them up and put them on your pizza. I've never tried that, but like, could be something.
True, like a pepperoni and Cool Ranch Dorito pizza, something like that.
Which could be interesting.
Which was probably pretty good, honestly.
I don't know what else you eat ranch with. Celery, but I wouldn't, that doesn't match. That's not on the same
Exactly.
spectrum.
I mean, you can't put Cool Ranch Doritos on your salad unless you wanted to do that. Yeah, like put that with your carrots.
It's difficult.
But these are nacho cheese bugles. Yeah. I'm also bigger on nacho cheese than... Like, I can eat nacho cheese just regular, but I do agree with you that Cool Ranch are really good as a snack. Yeah. And also, they're cleaner. Yeah. Because once you eat nacho cheese Doritos, you get the chitty thing. The chitty. It's been a long day.
No, I understand.
The Cheeto fingers.
Yes.
Yes, the chitty fingers that I was talking about.
Dorito and Cheeto is what you were mixing, I think.
The Cheeto fingers that you get when you get Cheetos, you get that from Doritos too. So, I lost my train of thought when I did that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to try some nacho cheese bugles. Oh. Get you one of them things.
Oh, this one's...
That's a really wrapped one.
This almost looks like a Dorito. Okay.
It basically looks like that because it's like folded in.
Yeah.
You fold a Dorito like how people fold pizza and eat it.
Is that all this is? Were we eating Doritos?
I don't think so. It's made by somebody else, so I don't know. Really crunchy.
Nah. I like that.
Does it have a smoky flavor?
No, I taste chili.
That's what that is?
I taste a little bit of like...
Frito chili.
Yeah.
Tastes just like Frito chili, but as a chip. It's not bad.
No, it's pretty good.
Very interesting, though. So, it's got a funky smell, though.
It does. You gotta think about how's your breath gonna smell.
Oh, that's for true.
Because this stuff is
pungent.
Yes. That is the word.
Quite pungent. So, what are you thinking on like scale of 0 to 100 with no decimals?
So,
definitely above a 50.
Yeah, definitely above a 50, but I'm going to dock some points for the pungency.
Like, is this a chip that when you go to a gas station, would you look at it and say, hey, I want those?
If I'm on a road trip by myself, yeah, I'll eat that late at night and not feel too guilty about it. But if I'm like at a movie on a date, hell no. No. It's a... But
when you go to Walmart and you're like, I got to buy groceries, would bugles be on the list?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't even consider
it's
them.
Like in that 60 to the 70s range.
Yeah, low 70s, I think. I'd probably go to 72.
Okay. I was kind of thinking around the same area. I was thinking 76, which is a 74.
Yeah.
Because it's not bad. I agree with you every part of that if I wanted, if I go inside in the gas station and like if I had like a bunch of people in the car and they're like, oh, get some chips or whatever, this is what I would consider one of those. Because it's like, it's good. It's a good, like you said, it's a good snack to have in the car while you're driving.
Yeah.
But it's not one that I'm just going to watch,
You don't want to be close to anybody who's eating.
Exactly. And I'm not going to sit at home by myself watching Captain America eating a bag of bugles or something, like I'm going to eat something else, but 74 seems like a good score to give that. And we got a second bag of also bugles, if I can open it. It's a different flavor, and the reason I asked, smell that, they got a weird smell to them.
Doesn't even smell like ranch.
No, it smells like bugle,
just pure chip.
I asked you about nacho cheese and Cool Ranch because the second flavor is just straight up ranch. They are very white.
Pale.
It looks like they put like the ranch seasoning on these chips.
Yeah, there's almost no smell to them. It's like cardboard.
It smells like...
Well,
there's
a hint.
Of ranch?
A hint of ranch.
It smells like... these were made when ranch was in the room.
Yeah.
And that was
It's
it.
like a seltzer.
Yeah, they smell like ranch because they were associated with it.
Bugle Ranch Seltzer.
Yeah. So here we go for ranch.
All right.
Cheers on that. Oh. Oh.
There's always got to be that one.
Oh. It really hits you like 5 seconds after you bite it.
Yeah. It's like it.
Like you're getting that funky aftertaste. Nacho cheese had a pungent smell. These have a pungent aftertaste.
Yeah, and no smell. These are like the inverse.
Yeah. So you won't have bad breath, but...
No, I still feel like my breath is going to stick out.
But you're going to have a bad aftertaste later. Yeah. It's like eating raw onions.
It is.
I wonder if there's onions in this.
Undoubtedly.
There is a bold barbecue flavor, and I do think those probably would be good. These have dried buttermilk, vegetable oil, salt, 2% or less of dried buttermilk, and whey.
Yeah, this one's got whey.
They have protein.
They do.
6 grams for the whole bag. I don't want to keep eating them because I'm just hungry, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't want them anymore.
I don't either, but like
the nacho cheese are way better.
This is where you eat Bugles, where they're there. I might as well.
That's their slogan.
Yeah.
Bugles, they're there. Is that in the commercial? Oh yeah, they said who should eat Bugles? Nobody. Should be the answer to that question. Who should eat Bugles? Anyone. So 0 to 100, less than nacho cheese, lower than a 70. So not a road trip snack.
I wouldn't even look at that in the gas station.
But it's not.
I'm not gonna try that again.
Like there's a constitute of a certain number that you go to, in my opinion, that when you get into the 40s,
it's when it makes you sick.
You get closer to spitting it out.
Yeah.
When I rate anything below a 20, means I can't even eat or drink it because it smells so bad or it tastes god awful. The stuff that's like vomit flavored or whatever, Yeah. Or like the really bad Bean Boozled ones, I would still put this in the 60s.
I'm gonna go high 50s.
Oh. You're going in the 50s. Like where?
I was thinking 58.
Oh, God. I was still thinking, like, 61. Like,
I'll go 59. I'll meet you halfway.
Okay, so we'll go, what?
60?
60?
Yeah.
That makes sense. An even 60.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not bad. I don't want them again.
Yeah.
But I'm not to the point where if somebody said, "Ooh, should I get these?" I'm going to say, I didn't like them, but that's up to you.
I think that should be our 60 threshold. That I'm not going to get them again.
Yeah, that's usually what I do is the threshold. Once you get into the mid to high 60s, is like, if somebody gave it to me, that's the threshold of if somebody gave it to me, I'd eat it. But if I went and bought it, I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
It's that kind of area where I don't want them. Like, there's different candies for you probably that's the same way, where if somebody gave it to me, I'd eat it. But if I went to the gas station and saw it, I'm not going to buy it. Yeah. Like, why would I want ranch Bugles?
Exactly, yeah.
But nacho cheese Bugles, I mean, they're 14 points higher total. Like, I think that's well-deserved in my opinion. So, nacho cheese Bugles at 74 and ranch at a 60. Yeah, fold them things up. Well, it doesn't matter if you fold them up.
They got some
smell.
stank.
The ranch don't smell. It's just I taste it now. So after all that, keeping with the food topic, I wanted to ask you a food question.
Okay.
So I had this question that was asked to me as a question a couple of weeks ago. And it was one of those Instagram questions that was one has got to go.
Yeah.
And it's a 4 choices. And they're all meat. Or meat related, I guess you could say. So, one of these has to go out of these 4, and I'm going to list them for you. Shrimp, steak, ribs, And fried chicken.
I'm allergic to shrimp, so we're going to go ahead and throw that one out.
Oh, okay.
But you switch it with any other kind of...
pork.
Well, I'll throw out beef ribs, but not pork ribs.
Okay.
I like my pork ribs.
Okay. Being specific with the rib. Okay.
Yeah.
You're allergic to shrimp?
I am. It's a recent development.
Like just shrimp or shellfish?
So I've discovered it's just shrimp so far.
Not crab or lobster.
I can eat crab. I can eat lobster. I can eat crawfish. No problems. It's just shrimp. It's strange.
I wonder what it is.
Right?
I wonder what specific thing they have that you're allergic to. That is interesting.
Yeah. But I think...
Because did you like shrimp?
No, not even that much.
So it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not going to hurt your feelings. You
No.
know, they're not saying that you're lactose intolerant.
Yeah,
or something.
I'd probably off myself. You know? I can't have sugar or cheese. No, there's no reason to live.
Or milk or anything dairy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No reason. Yeah, no. If I'm going to a sushi restaurant, I'm not ordering the shrimp tempura, you know? I'm getting some crab or something like that. You know, spicy crab roll or...
Yeah. Crab, yeah. What about salmon? Salmon.
I like salmon.
What about tuna?
I like tuna. Not tuna salad.
See, if I'm really hungry and I go to one of these places, I'm just going straight for the hibachi.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
I just want a pile of meat and rice. That's
Yeah.
that's the game changer right there. But when I'm you know what? I just want 2 rolls or whatever. I usually do go with the shrimp. It's always or spicy California.
Yeah, I mean,
which is just crab, you know, or imitation crab, depending on where you go. But one of these places I go to, what was it? It was spicy California roll, which they have a spicy California roll at Bento at ULM, which I have tried, and it's pretty good. They're expensive though, because it's $8 a roll.
Yeah,
and I say that's expensive, but it's probably okay.
No, it's pretty good. The Sushik, I think it's called at Tech, was about $8 a roll, and that's a relatively good price for the area.
Versus getting to Ronin or something.
Yeah, where you're paying $15 or something like that.
Yeah, for the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying about and that's why I was asking, because I was hopefully he's not allergic to none of this.
Yeah.
Because it was shrimp, steak, ribs, or fried chicken. You know, for me, that's a big question because I love all these. And I gave up ribs. Because...
That would hurt my heart to give those up.
I eat everything else way more, is the thing. I eat steak once a week. I eat shrimp very often. And then fried chicken is everywhere.
Yeah.
Fried chicken's... That's cutting out all fast food fried chicken. Popeyes, Cane's... eating any fried chicken at home, you can't cook it anymore, it's cutting it out completely.
Yeah.
So, and steak, I mean, you can't. How can I get rid of steak?
Fried chicken, dipping it into different kinds of sauces, different barbecue sauces, Korean barbecue, spicy cayenne, you know, things like that. That's the experience with fried chicken. You know, trying your different sauces. Or different flavors of hot wings, things like that. You don't have that variability with the other ones. Well, maybe with the other aside from shrimp. I guess you can season shrimp in different ways, but you're not dipping shrimp in other things other than
the cocktail sauce. Yeah. Because
maybe there's another one, the tartar sauce. I hate tartar sauce.
That's mainly tartar and cocktail sauce is the main thing. But I don't like tartar either and cocktail sauce. How many places do you go to that you get cocktail sauce anymore?
Exactly.
Cocktail sauce, people, it's stereotypically a expensive appetizer. That's a bunch of jumbo shrimp, 6 of them on that rim of a bowl with the cocktail sauce in the middle. And cocktail sauce is served cold.
Yeah.
And I don't like ice cold sauce, you know.
Your shrimp are cold?
No.
Ew.
Well, yeah, because they're also
on
the ice. And some people do like shrimp cold. And, I mean, that's the same thing as ordering a lettuce wrap and it's hot.
Yeah.
I hate hot lettuce. It's so bad.
Yeah.
The same way with like getting a lettuce wrap and it has the lettuce and ranch. Hot ranch is gross.
Yeah, you can't eat hot ranch.
No, like it's so bad, and I don't like hot ranch, but hot lettuce is on like another level of like hatred for me because it's so gross, you know. But yeah, but I see what you're saying about the shrimp because you're allergic, but I understand the rib thing and then all the sauce thing, you know. Like, I mean,
and steaks, they're just, most of them are good on their own. If you get a good cut of meat,
exactly.
It's just delicious.
You get a good steak, and then you could just put like salt and pepper. Like, I air fry steaks sometimes, and all I do is like spray the spray so it don't stick, you know. That, and then before I've just put salt and pepper. Maybe
some garlic, you know.
Yeah. I think I had like some house seasoning that was, what was this? It was like it said Longhorn, but it wasn't Longhorn Steakhouse. It was like another brand. But it was like some, like, not lemon pepper, but it had some other seasoning in it mixed with the salt and pepper I put on there. And it's like, oh. And then I put the same seasoning on that, the same steak seasoning, and I did it on a pork loin.
Ooh.
And it was all air fried. And I was like, oh. Which I did the weirdest meal. Like, I'm gonna mention this thing. I'm not that good of a cook. I'm not the best at cooking, but I made a dish that was random, in my opinion. It might be normal in some places, but I think it was pretty random. I had 2 little pork tenderloins, and I air fried them. And my side was bacon and cheese scrambled eggs.
Okay.
And it's pretty healthy when you think about it. When you, like, it's good protein forward. Yeah. Because I was like, I really want to make some eggs, but I want meat. And I was like, I don't have any steak. What can I use? And all I found was pork. Yeah. And I was like, well, I have these loins.
Might as well.
And then so I had a whole pack of 4 of them, you know, like you just get from Walmart or wherever. And I was like, well, I'll just do 2 of these. And then I did like 2 eggs scrambled with bacon and some shredded cheese.
All right.
That's a good meal right there.
I've never considered that combination, but it is interesting.
Well, like, now I'm thinking about it. It's like, what can I do now doing like grilled or air fried meat with some kind of egg dish as a side? Like a grilled chicken with an omelet.
Yeah, why don't you make an omelet with your meat and like prepare it so that, I mean, if like you do fried chicken with it, you cut up your fried chicken and you put that into your omelet. You fold your omelet into that.
A fried chicken omelet.
Yeah. Or you do a steak omelet or something like that.
That would be good.
Right?
Cover it in like the cheese.
Some steak sauce on top.
And then like some little green onion type things, and maybe just regular onions like diced in there. Like,
that'd be good.
We're coming up with
egg
ideas here. Doing that kind of stuff, especially like, because I've always like bacon and cheese and scrambled eggs is like one of my favorite things now. Yeah. And so I'm like and I'm not the best at cooking, so I'm trying to start low, where I'm like, okay, I want to try to do a lot of different egg dishes. And it's like, meat is not that hard to cook if I have an air fryer. Yeah. It's just figure out how long, and then I'll flip them over and then put them back in there, you know, and season it well and do that kind of thing. And it's like, so that's my goal right now, is doing different dishes that have a main meat and then the side is some form of egg dish. Yeah. So there you go. Scrambled eggs, like omelets, any kind of egg that you want to do. Which, I mean, I feel like that's a meal to get ripped. Yeah. Like just a sunny side up egg, you know, just a regular egg with nothing on it and 2 pieces of air fried chicken.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Like, that's it.
I'd eat some egg on top of a steak, you know, like a sunny side up.
Yeah, put it on the cooked steak and then cut the yolk to have the yolk flowing over the cooked steak. Yes. Or that like new trend or whatever it was on those cooking, I don't even know what it is. Like, they do an omelet, but it's still soft and liquidy in the middle. Yeah. And then they put it over like rice, and then they cut it and it folds open and liquefies over it. You need that, but for the steak.
Interesting.
It's weird because they do like nothing but yolks, but it's like 8 of them.
Dang.
But it's because they're making an omelet that's only yolks.
Yeah.
No white.
Well, you lose all your protein when you lose your yolks.
I think it's just for aesthetic because of what they do. They like make a like diamond looking thing and put it over the rice, and they cut it in the middle, and then it folds over, but it's still gooey, yolky in the middle. But that sounds good to me. Like
I'd go for it.
Yeah. Do like 2 omelets and then put a steak in the middle, and you just get a sandwich.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me. I mean, so yeah, that's what I was talking about. But also, since we're talking about steak, I wanted to ask you this question about meat again. Have you ever had Wagyu beef?
I don't think I have.
Okay, well, I don't know if you know this, but what makes Wagyu differ from regular steak? We'll look it up as well.
I think it might be the type of cow that it comes from.
Okay. Wagyu is any of the 4 Japanese breeds of beef cattle. In several areas of Japan, Wagyu beef is shipped carrying area names. Some examples are I'm going to butcher these. Kobe beef.
Yeah.
Is one of them. And Mishima beef. It's Wagyu's tri-tip is a triangular cut of meat that comes from the bottom sirloin section of the cow. It's delicate flavor and tender texture. From Japan is mainly them. They're crossbred with American cattle to produce American Wagyu beef.
I've heard of that. I think I may have had that on a burger.
The crossbreed?
Yeah.
So mainly different cattle around Japan. It contains a higher percentage of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, making it more unsaturated fats than other beef. It has a low melting point and not only creates a wonderful texture, but also holds most of the flavor. That's why it looks real like more white than anything.
I think it's based off of their diets.
I think so.
And Japan, I guess they just get
and that's why it's
they
expensive.
Can't get anywhere else.
And that's why it's expensive and all get out. It's considered some of the best cut of meat, though.
I'd like to try it.
I would too, because the question I was going to ask is, would you think it's worth it? For the
if
amount
I can afford
that
it,
usually is. Well, yeah.
As a student, no. But that's where I'm like, if I had the opportunity, I would try it. If I had enough money in my bank account, I would try it. If I had someone buying it for me, I would try it.
Well, yeah, of course.
Exactly.
If you're offered Wagyu beef.
But I'm po. I don't need no Wagyu beef right now. I can cook my own steaks. They taste pretty good.
Just cooking some sirloin and some T-bone and all that. I understand that. But I was just wondering because, like, Wagyu is, like, it's known to be expensive.
Yeah.
And it's known to be, like, a rich person meat. But then some people I've heard say that, like, it's not even the best, that they've had.
Yeah.
Like they said, it was good to know. It's good to finally know, but they said they would rather go to a restaurant somewhere and have, like, a better steak there or cook one at home, and it'll be better than the Wagyu they got served somewhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and, like, that's the same thing of getting, like, filet mignon. It's just little cut-up steaks. It's like, they're really tender and good, but is it worth it?
Yeah.
Like,
well, most of the time when you go and get those, they don't really season them that much, but you go and you get your tougher cuts, and they season them heavily to make you want to buy them.
Yeah.
So you're eating seasoned versus unseasoned, and the unseasoned is typically, like, really, the experience of eating it is better. And you think it's not as good because it doesn't taste like it's seasoned, but they're still pretty good.
Yeah, some meat without even no seasoning at all is still okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad,
But that's why people frown upon using steak sauce and stuff like that. It takes away from the original experience. But I mean, it's just steak. Eat it however you want to eat it.
If you're paying for it don't matter. Like, if you're gonna pay for steak at Outback or Texas Roadhouse or wherever, or anywhere really, because I feel like every restaurant has a steak now, at a sit-down restaurant.
Yeah.
That's up to you. Like, I mean, Olive Garden serves a sirloin. It's a sirloin with a side of fettuccine Alfredo, which, are you a pasta guy?
No, I'm not. With the diabetes,
Oh, that is true.
Yeah.
Never mind. Were you a pasta guy?
Not even. No.
You weren't much for noodles and sauce and all that?
Not really, because I like meat, and pasta is not like...
It's noodle forward.
Yeah, it's very heavily
There
based
is
on
meat.
how good your sauce is.
Yeah. The reason I was saying that is because actually last week I took my first ever trip in my life to Olive Garden.
Oh, yeah?
I've never been. I'm 23 years old, and this is my first trip to sit down and eat inside of them. I have had their breadsticks before, but they were brought home to me by somebody who had.
Aren't as good.
No, and then we let them sit there, and I was like, I'll eat them tomorrow.
Nope.
And then tomorrow we got them, and you could build a house out of them breadsticks. I don't know what they did to them, but I feel like I could.
They froze them.
Well, we didn't freeze them. They just sat out.
Well, they freeze them in transit.
Well, yeah, to get them to their Olive Gardens.
But that's why they do that.
Okay.
Once you have frozen, you recook it, and all that moisture leaves it. It just turns into concrete.
Okay. I felt like it because I tried to bite it, and I was like, golly, and I felt like I was going to break a tooth.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can just build a house out of these
you can.
breadsticks. But getting them fresh,
they're delicious.
Oh, God, they were some of the best.
Right.
I understand why people rave about them now because they were good. But I was saying because of the pasta, because, I'm not that big of a pasta guy. I'll eat a spaghetti every now and again, at home.
Mm-hmm.
But, going to Olive Garden, it never fancied me because I was I'm not that big into, Alfredo and all that kind of stuff. But I got a chicken and shrimp carbonara. It was good. It was. I want to go back for just that because it was the little strips of chicken that they have, and then just some shrimps in there, and the sauce was. And it was really thin angel hair noodles, some kind of sauce that was just cream sauce, I think, and then cut sliced red bell peppers, and that was it. Really good, really good. Of course, with that and the breadsticks, and then we had dessert. And it was vanilla cream cake. Oh, it was vanilla cake with the layer in the middle too, but the icing was all cream cheese.
Ooh, that's good.
And then we weren't too hungry for all of it, so we didn't get the strawberries or strawberry cream that was on top of it because I was like, I'm not going to be able to eat all that.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot of food they give you.
God, it is because they always and then they bring that big salad beforehand.
Yes, I love the salad.
The salad is good.
All the
it's
Parmesan.
really good. And then they did the Parmesan thing, and they were like, tell me when.
And I don't. I'm like, you can leave it, honey.
They're still going. And then I was like,
myself.
When? Because I didn't know when to say it. I didn't know when was too much. And I was like, oh, dang, that's a lot of Parmesan on it. But
just got to spread it out.
Oh, that's what I did. Well, it's because they put it on the big bowl.
Yeah.
And then you have to use the tongs to get it out. And then I was like, God, this is a bunch because I don't want to grab it from the middle because I would have just grabbed nothing but Parmesan cheese.
You got to mix your salad.
Well, yeah, I did, but I don't like tomatoes.
Oh,
it's my problem. I love when they put an egg in a salad, but I'm not a tomato guy.
Yeah, I take mine out.
Out of all the salad, tomatoes are the only thing I won't eat. But everything else, I'll eat lettuce, spinach, some broccoli, the egg, of course. Any kind of bell peppers or whatever. I'll tear all that stuff up. Onions, but tomatoes, that's where I draw the line with that. You do too, don't you? You don't like tomatoes.
I don't like them in certain foods.
A hamburger.
I'm not asking for tomato in a hamburger.
And if you get it, you take it off.
Yeah.
Subway.
I know. Guacamole, however, I want tomatoes in my guacamole.
Do you like guac in a salad?
No. I like...
If they put guac the creamy looking guacamole.
I don't want that in my salad. I like it chunky, for one.
As a dip?
Yes.
Okay.
As a dip or on top of something really spicy. So if I got super spicy taco I'm eating, I'll put it on the taco.
Or like a really hot burrito or something.
I'll put it on the burrito.
You put guac or just a rice bowl or something like that. Okay, I got you. Makes sense, because guac will, like, cool it down, won't it?
It will.
Okay.
It
I'm not that big on guac. I've had it before, but it's been a while.
It adds a flavor to the spice. You're not necessarily completely cooling it down, but you can taste it much better. Like, you can taste the flavor. It gives you the
flavor more than just killing your mouth from the heat, the hotness of it.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you. Makes sense. Because, like, I'm not that big on guac, but what I am big on now, I'm not super big on it, but I like it now. I'm just trying a bunch of new things, apparently, this year. I've been to Olive Garden now, and then we got this dip from, we got something else from Olive Garden. We got a dip, and we got the bread chips, but it was spinach artichoke dip.
Oh, yes. With the cheese. It's like the Ninja Turtle pizza cheese. Like, it pulls,
yeah. Like,
it's so good.
I got it, but, like, to me, spinach artichoke dip, the flavor's very subtle for me.
It is. Yeah.
But I think that's the problem, is that I keep eating it, trying to find the flavor, and then it's gone.
And that's the whole experience with spinach artichoke.
Yeah, that's it. Because it's like, I don't know what artichokes taste like. I know what spinach tastes like. And then it's just a bunch of cheese. So you're just basically getting, like, a weird, like, veggie queso.
You are.
Almost. And that's all it is. That's really all it is like
Pretty much.
More fancy queso.
It's a healthy queso.
Exactly. Because I've had it from another place before. That was like a bistro type place. And that was the first time I've ever had it. And I was like, okay, I taste a little something. And then I already ate half the bowl. So I'm already down to the bottom of the bowl at this point. So it's like, I'm trying to find the flavor. And by the time I find it, I've already eaten over half the bowl now. And that's the problem, you know. But yeah, spinach artichoke dip.
I don't ever think there's enough spinach artichoke dip. Like, every time I get it,
I feel like
I need more.
If I ate even a second bowl, I still would not find the flavor.
Exactly.
Because it's like right there, you're like, what is that? And then you taste the saltiness of the chip, and you're like, dang it, I gotta go get it in for another one.
Get you a spoonful of it.
They do serve it every time with a spoon. Every time they always just stick a spoon under it. And I think they do that just to make it look like there's more, because the spoon's shoving it up, you know. But yeah, like that. And I know you're not, of course, you can't eat shrimp, but there's a lot of places that do like shrimp queso or crawfish queso. I think, is Walk-On's one of them? No. There is a place, well, Traps did, but they're closed now. Traps did a crawfish queso, where they would take the crawfish, of course, out of the whole shell and just have the meat. And then they would cook it, and then they would put it in the queso. And that was really good.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Crawfish queso, that was so good. But yeah, there's a lot of dips that you can get. But I'm not big on pico.
I love pico. Absolutely.
That's like tomatoes, though.
It is. But
the only pico I've liked is from Chili's.
I like it from Javi P's.
Okay.
It's got a really good flavor that's not heavy in tomatoes.
Okay.
It's really good, though. Got some spice to it.
Okay. Spicy pico. I got you.
They also have a mango pico as well that's spicy and sweet. It's really good.
And I know that, like, a lot of places do that, like lime drizzled on a lot of stuff. What was I about to say? Have you gotten salads from Chick-fil-A?
No.
Okay, I was about to ask about that avocado lime ranch that they have at Chick-fil-A.
I've heard it's really good. I've never tried it.
Okay, well, if you ever do, that's probably what you do. Because it's just it looks like a green ranch.
Yeah,
is all it is. Because it's avocado mixed with ranch and some lime in it.
Yeah.
But it sounds all right, you know. Avocado lime ranch.
Yeah.
You know, on like a Chick-fil-A salad. But I'm probably never going to get it. I mean, unless I get a salad, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we could be on dipping sauces forever. But there's so many of them that's just so good.
Yes.
You know? But yeah. Anything you want to say? Any food topic you got?
I don't think
Or question you want to ask me about the great food that you've made in your life, apparently? You're going to grad school for learning about plants, and instead you probably should go to culinary school, but this is what you love, so.
I'd love cooking, too.
Exactly.
That was one of my first, ideas was to go to school for cooking. But...
Chef John.
It's a field I just don't think I would enjoy. It's the customer service that,
Yeah.
I mean, I could be someone's private chef, maybe, and be okay with it. Just, have a personal relationship with someone I can deal with. But having the...
You could be my private chef.
Right,
If I'm a millionaire, if I had Elon Musk money.
Hey, you let me know when you get that money, and I will absolutely cook for you.
I might.
I've got some pretty good dishes.
I put so much towards a 401k, I might be a millionaire before long, so.
Heck yeah. Invest in some cryptocurrency or something?
Some Dogecoin?
Yeah.
Or something? Who knows? I mean, buy some stock in GameStop and let it go up again.
Yeah.
Do that kind of thing. Hey, there you go. You can make me some good food. You can make me pork and egg.
Exactly. And it'll be damn good.
It'll be great. I know that.
But yeah, we went with the plants instead. So
instead of cooking them, now you're learning about them.
Exactly.
Helping them live.
Yeah.
Instead of cutting them up in your meals or whatever, in your Hello Fresh.
I still do that.
Oh well, yeah, but you know more about their life and all that now. Yeah. What makes them live and everything too. So, well, speaking about what you do, are there any updates in the plant world?
Not too much. We are in the season where things are slowing down. Actually,
because everything's dying.
Yeah, when the leaves drop, we have nothing to do really. We analyze data. That's the part of ecology I'm not a huge fan of, but
it's sitting down
necessary.
And looking at stuff.
Yeah, there's two major parts to things, where you go out into the field and you collect your data and you gather your understanding of what's happening here. You gather your hypothesis and really build the groundwork to support it.
That's the fun part.
Yeah. All your data is just data until you've interpreted it, though.
Yeah.
You've got to make some models and graphs and things so other people can understand what you went out and saw.
Yeah.
So that's the part where you've got to be good at all kinds of different computer systems. You got to be good at software, programming, all of that, which I didn't expect to have to get into, but here I am.
True.
Using that. I don't know what grade we were in when we had computer science class, but
that was
I'm using that stuff.
9th or 10th grade,
right?
Or something around there. Yeah.
I'm throwing back to that. And my freshman year at Tech, when I was programming robots for engineering, when I switched out of that and went into the biology, but
you were like, I'm leaving that behind, and then you graduate and now you're here, and it's like
right back in it.
It's like, yeah, you're a biologist, but you need to go in here and learn about
learn about statistics and
you need
all kinds of stuff.
That's with a lot of jobs now, anyway.
It is
because of the technology part,
and that's exactly what it is. We gotta keep up with the technology
because it was before that. It was write it down,
and
do it yourself by hand.
That is what we have to get away from, or else we'll get left behind.
Well, yeah,
because you do have that old-fashioned way of going out into the field, writing things down, using the technology that's mechanical. But there is technology that is computer and electrical, and all of that stuff is really, really helpful if you can understand how to use it. But you got to understand how to use so many different things, like programming your flight paths for your drones. You got to learn how to fly your drones to take pictures above the forest. So you're now not necessarily walking through the forest in the bottom where it's very unfriendly. Maybe you have 3 snakes that you're walking past, or spider webs that you got to walk through, or there's something else over there that you just don't want to walk through.
Yeah.
But you can fly over it with a drone, take pictures of it. But then how can you interpret those pictures using a computer? Then you got to build a whole structure to interpret them.
Yeah.
That stuff is insanely complicated too. But we're doing machine learning where our computer can learn using thousands and thousands of images and interpret pictures based off of the information it has stored. So it will use several flyovers of a forest, take pictures. Now we have a categorization available, so we can say, oh, well, this is a water locust over here, or this is a hickory over here, or this is a oak over here, just based off of how the light reflects off the leaves. And a computer will tell us that. That's a lot more efficient than walking through and saying, oh, well, the leaf shape on that one looks like it might be a water locust, but it could be a honey locust. We're not exactly sure, though.
Yeah.
But a computer can be. It can be pretty sure.
Unless you look through the book and look at all the pictures really good.
It can be pretty sure to a point, but as you keep training it, and as you keep giving it information,
it'll be like 99% sure that it's this.
Yeah, the
because it's never usually 100.
Yeah, the accuracy increases as you go. But it's the whole process of getting it to that point. That's your difficult part. But that's our game. That's what we do. And I'm just happy to sometimes get a break, which is a nice little segue to
your trips.
Yeah.
That you apparently been on a trip recently.
Yeah, we had our fall break.
Last Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah. So I took the opportunity to take a little road trip.
Okay.
And
did you leave Thursday or Friday?
Left Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, Friday at noon.
Yeah, because that's when, I mean, the college is pretty dead.
Yeah.
It's dead on Fridays anyway, but that Friday was worse because there was nobody.
We got our things done and we set off. Had a nice companion. I've friended at ULM.
Okay.
And we went together for this trip. She was a very good photographer and a car buddy to keep along with me.
Yeah.
But
is she part of the program?
No, she's actually across the parking lot. So she's in Sugar Hall. She's in SLP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Working with kids over there, which is very admirable.
True.
But yeah.
I could never do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's admirable.
Exactly. Whenever somebody says that they help, like, pediatric or anything like that, I'm like...
It takes a patient person, and it's...
To work with literally kids in any way.
Yeah.
Whether it's a daycare or
But she's
medically...
working with the ones who are, a little bit behind. They have trouble, reading or pronouncing
or have
words
some
correctly.
type of learning disability.
That's the one she works with.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good on her, right?
Golf claps.
But yeah, so we went through Friday.
Take me on this timeline.
I think I actually have a timeline written out. So I did the calculations for you because I knew I was going to talk about this. We drove over 2,900 miles on this trip, right? In the span of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and a little bit of Tuesday. We got back Tuesday afternoon. Or no, we got back so late Tuesday.
So pretty much 5 days.
Yeah, 5 days straight of just driving.
Y'all got back at 10 or 11 Tuesday or later?
I think we got back at Wednesday at 2 a.m.
Oh, didn't you have to come back?
Yep. I sure did. Have to come back to school. And I was in class until 5 that afternoon, so I was tired, dead tired.
I bet so. You probably didn't get hardly any sleep.
No, not at all. But it was a good time, I think.
It was worth getting back at 2 in the morning.
So, we drove through Friday, and we got to... And I've actually done part of this drive already, so I was just going to show her, and we did some parts that I've never seen. But we went through... the Great Sand Dunes in southern Colorado.
You went all the way up there?
No, we went so far.
So you left here?
Left here.
And then went through...
At noon, and got to Colorado at 6 a.m.
Oh.
So it was about 14 hours of straight driving. But we got there just as the sun was about to come up, and White Sands is way off the highway, so we were watching the sun come up over the mountain to the right of us as we were pulling up to the sand dunes. And we pulled into the parking lot, and there was several bobcat run across the parking lot. Parking lot was filled with people. They were coming there to watch the sunrise, and so are the bobcat, I guess.
I guess so. But watch out for those.
Yeah, we were like, all right, we'll stay in the car for a little while until we can at least see outside, because we don't want to mess around. But yeah, we pulled up and we parked. I think we watched the sunrise for a little bit until we had to take a nap.
Well, yeah, because you've been gone for for 15, 16 hours at this point.
And then we went out onto the dunes, walked around. These dunes, the tallest thing I can give you to reference them, they're about as tall as the library at ULM.
Oh.
Maybe taller. Some of them are
so
taller.
Over 7 stories.
Yeah, the tallest dunes in the United States. In North America, I think. But definitely the United States. And so we were not walking up those dunes. We just went to the bottom, sort of, and we were like, oh, those are tall. Then we turned around and we're like,
that's like a mountain.
Yeah, no, they were so tall. Then we continued on, driving west to Durango, which is another several-hour drive. We didn't get there until about 7 in the evening. We ate at this amazing Mexican restaurant. Probably the best Mexican food I've had. Probably the worst service I've had in a Mexican restaurant.
I feel like that goes hand in hand with a lot of places. Like, it's really good, but it wasn't good service.
Yeah, but it was such good food. I loved it so much. And I got what they called the super burrito. All right, now, this burrito...
Was it a foot long?
Just about. This burrito was about that size on either side. So about the size of your console in between the seats.
Foot long and like half a foot wide.
Massive. And then rice and beans on either side. I had guacamole on top, peppers, all different kinds of peppers that were sticking out of the guacamole, and then they drizzled it with sour cream. What else did they put on there? They put some like cayenne ranch, maybe something that was like spicy but different.
Yeah.
It was amazing. That was like one of the best.
Did you finish all of it?
Absolutely not. No, I couldn't. And not only that, we were headed north from Durango, which Durango is on the western end of Colorado. It's dead in an area where you have to go to mountains to get out of it.
Okay.
So we're driving through the night in the mountains on a road called the $1 Million Highway, which is in reference to like all the gold and silver mines that were out there. Yeah. But it was one of the most dangerous highways in the world. I mean, not in the world, in the United States to build. Because it's on top of the mountains. So, in the middle of the night, on top of the mountains, a burrito in my belly.
I can see
you know.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going. We're headed like 60, 70 miles to the next town, and that's where we're staying. It's called Montrose. And I was, turtle heading all the way. I didn't even tell my lovely companion, but I was absolutely about to just
explode,
shat myself everywhere. And there was no towns to stop.
Was this your car?
Yeah, it's my car. Absolutely.
Were you driving?
Yeah. So I'm like white knuckling, but not because I'm scared of where we are. It's because I have to poop so bad, and there's nowhere to stop. You can't stop up there.
Yeah, because there's probably no pull-offs, and it's the road and then cliff or side of the road.
There's no lights. The moon is not out.
No rails?
No rails. You can see that there is a drop-off. You just don't know how far down. Yeah, because it's the edge
of the road and then just blackness, probably.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like.
Just the pit.
And my bright headlights don't do much but illuminate the trees. So you got trees on your left and then drop off on your right. That's all I got.
Yeah, because you're just, it's like, I know I'm driving on the side of a mountain.
Exactly. And I've driven this road before.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like. I know how big those drops are, and I know it is terrifying to be up there, let alone at night. But I'm glad I didn't shit myself. I'll just say that. Yeah, that was really scary.
It sounds scary.
Yeah.
Like, I've been on a mountain road like that on the side of a mountain where it's nighttime. But sometimes they have rails and sometimes they don't. And when they don't, you're like, why? But then you make sense. It's like, oh, well, it's dangerous because you literally can take one sharp turn to the right and then you're pretty much dead. Yeah. Either dead or not going to be found.
Yeah. But yeah, so we went through, we made it out, obviously. and we stayed in Montrose at one of the worst motels, I'll say. It was a Super 8. One of the worst I've ever stayed in, and I've stayed in so many across the country. I've stayed in like a really nice what are they? It's the 6 Motel 6.
Yeah,
I've stayed in one of those in Port Angeles up near Canada. It was perfect. It was a nice little cute motel.
But you're now staying in a bad motel that is stereotype, bed bugs, dirty,
not washed. None of the towels were clean.
When you're in your room, you open the door. Now you're on the highway, like that kind of motel.
No, there was other people's hair in the towel when we unfolded them.
Oh,
yeah, and there were stains on the comforter of the beds. Like, we could see the stains. There were no windows really in the room. It was kind of like
a prison.
Yeah, like they had the small slits
at the top.
Yeah, and your blinds, your blinds were like, they adhered to that small slit. It was probably like a foot that you could see out of the window.
But it was one of those that's just really long.
Yes,
but not wide.
Yeah. Awful place to stay. I hated it there. Water pressure was awful too in the showers. That made me mad. But
was it like gut just barely coming out?
Yeah,
like
barely.
Somebody just spitting on you. How much it was.
And you don't want to wash your hair in that. You're going to be washing your hair for like 4 hours trying to get all this soap out.
That's true.
It's awful. But
it's like you can go outside and it'll rain harder on you.
Yeah. No, but that's my next point. It was snowing outside, but not cold enough to stick to the ground.
Yeah.
So it was gorgeous. You had these massive snowflakes falling down really heavily, none of it sticking to the ground. So you're getting all of the like positives of a snowstorm, but like none of the negatives. So I was able to drive the next morning and we made it out just fine.
Yeah, because you're not in like a blizzard type weather.
Well, it wasn't cold enough. It was 40 degrees-ish. So the ground was still too warm, but the air was...
It just looked cool, but you're not having to deal with iced over roads.
Yeah. And we're high enough in altitude where snow is normal up there, instead of rain. And it'll just melt once it hits the ground.
Yeah.
But that was a nice little drive up until we went a little further west to Moab. Went to Utah.
Okay.
Where the snow was sticking up on the
Mormon country.
Yeah, in the Mormon country. Yeah. The snow was sticking on the sides of the canyons.
Okay.
Which is gorgeous. So the red canyons turned white, except for like certain areas of the layers. So it almost like highlighted each layer based off of like, erosion. So it was like they look like steps almost.
Okay.
And where each step goes up, you have a little band of red.
Because the snow just couldn't get to it.
Yeah. So it's really interesting and pretty to look at.
So you're getting like
what it normally looks
American flag.
Yeah, exactly.
Red, white, red, white.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what it looks like. Just a gorgeous country, though. Like mountains, you can't like comprehend how large the mountains are out there. Like
until you see them.
You're sitting at a level where the clouds are already very close to the top of your head, and then the mountains, they go like 30 times what you can see past it. And you're just like, I wonder how high that mountain is. I don't even know.
You just look up and there's a cloud, and it's like, well, unless I'm in a plane, I'm not going to be able to see it.
But you know that mountain's tall.
Yeah.
You know it's a big mountain. You just can't see it. But it's a really interesting country. We went to Arches National Park, where you have all the Colorado license plates. They have those arches on them.
Oh, okay.
That's where you find them. I've actually got some pretty good pictures. Sorry to all of the listeners. But we do.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
This is all of these arches like in the horizon, so you can see them everywhere, and you can see how they form in the side of these canyons. So the rocks will fall out underneath. And then over time... It just
leaves the gape part of it there open.
Yeah, over time, the water will carve out a little path down to it. Yeah. And it'll all fall out. And you'll just be left with that arch. And there's thousands of them. I think there's like 2,000 recorded arches out there. It's like you're in an alien world, like at Mars or something. That's what it looks like, except with roads. But really good roads. I love the Utah roads.
They take care of their roads,
right? Yeah, we went from there, drove south to Page, Arizona, where Glen Canyon is, Lake Powell.
Okay.
And we stayed in a hotel that overlooked the canyon and the dam, for actually cheaper than we stayed in the motel. The bad one? That crappy motel. Cheaper to have a view of a canyon and a massive dam. Looks like the Hoover Dam.
Just another one.
Yeah. It's the dam that stops a lake. That water that drains off from that lake stops at another lake that is stopped by the Hoover Dam.
Oh, okay. It's just the dam before Hoover.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I could have said that. But,
well, you explain. I mean, you had a good explanation. I understand what you were saying. Have you been to the Hoover Dam?
I have, yeah.
Is it massive?
It is. It's really big. But the Glen Canyon Dam's nearly the same size.
Okay.
And the water, I mean, there's massive drought out there. The water to the Glen Canyon Dam is actually like really high up on the dam, but you can see in the distance where it's all dried up based off all the bathtub rings on the rocks.
Yeah.
So you can see in the distance, maybe like 30 miles, where all of the branching arms of this lake used to be and where the lake is now. It's a crazy sight to see. I mean, it's like watching... I feel like
that's a lot of places they're not doing good.
If you watch
water.
Lake Darbone,
be
at 10% capacity, and you can just see everything that used to be where water was.
Yeah.
That's what Lake Powell looks like.
Okay.
Except it's just...
That's the same thing for a lot of places for some reason, because the Mississippi River's down. Because, I mean, they're finding boats that sunk, ferry boats that sunk years and years ago, ferry boat found in Mississippi River. Like, I guess that was used to take it back and forth across the river from Baton Rouge to the other town there before a bridge was built, But I understand what you're saying. Like, it's just so low to the point where you can just see stuff that you wouldn't be able to see on a regular day.
Yeah.
But...
I mean, there's old settlements, old towns that are coming up, and especially in Lake Mead. You're seeing all kinds of different things, like sunken boats. You can see foundations. There's an old World War II Higgins boat that came up in the bottom of Lake Mead. Like, they got all kinds of stuff coming up. Dead bodies, when the mafia was burying them in barrels out there.
Yeah, and then now the barrels are coming up with just bones in them.
Concrete and bones.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, we went through there. We went from Page to the Petrified Forest National Park.
Okay. I've heard of it.
Which it's out in Arizona. Well, we went to Winslow first, obviously. Standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona.
Yeah.
Such a fine sight to see. But we went to the Petrified Forest next, and that's in eastern Arizona. So, we got about halfway through our drive of a lot of national parks are drive-throughs. So Arches is a drive-through national park. You can start at one end and make it through the other.
You can probably walk around, but...
Yeah, you can.
But you see pretty much all of it.
You can go around a lot of them.
Through the drive-through part.
They make it so it's accessible and it's functional.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't want to walk or can't walk.
Yeah, if you just want to see, you can absolutely do that. But they were doing work on a railroad crossing at the other end. So we got halfway through before we realized we weren't going to make it to the other end before the sun went down. And then we wouldn't even get to see what's down there. Yeah. So we just turned around midway through. Didn't even get to see the really cool stuff in the park.
Yeah.
Which makes my 5th time coming through there not able to go through that park. And that is so aggravating to me.
Well,
still haven't been able to see
one of those places that you've gone through has to happen where it's like,
yes,
I've been through there 4 times now and I can't see it.
Still can't. But I mean, there's places I've been to 3 times now where I'm like,
exactly.
This is getting old.
This isn't new. I've already seen this. Hoover Dam, not that big anymore.
Exactly. Seen it 3 times.
Exactly. But then you're like, I can't see these dead gum petrified woods.
Exactly. But we'll get there one day. we'll make it.
That's the next trip.
Yeah. But yeah, so we drove from there, already nighttime, to Alamogordo, New Mexico, which is in southern New Mexico.
Okay.
This is where the White Sands National Park is, and the White Sands Missile Range, where they would do a lot of their
the tests,
nuclear tests.
Yeah.
It's a really pretty area.
How can you go out there?
You just drive right through it. They got a big sign on the side of the road says White Sands Missile Range, do not enter, and a big. Well, they've got an Air Force base, an Army base, and then the White Sands Missile Range. The Army base is like kind of farther away, but the Air Force base, they've got those, like they've got barbed wire out front. They've got the big.
You can see it closely.
Yeah, you can see it. The missile range, you don't see it. You see the sign, you see the road that goes out there, and you don't see anything else.
Yeah, because it's just empty ground.
Yeah, but
that's what I was wondering, because I was like, if they're doing nuclear tests, shouldn't people not be close to it?
Well, they don't. I don't think they nuclear test it anymore. They do more.
No, this was back
long-range missiles, ICBMs, things like that. But back in the 40s, that's
when they were doing the Manhattan Project.
That's where they were doing that stuff. It's
like, well, how big is this atom bomb? We might as well test it.
Yeah. So yeah, we went through there. We went through. So we were still headed east at this point. So we went to Cloudcroft, which is on the mountains above Alamogordo. You can see the white sands of the desert, all of that, and it completely covered in snow.
Yeah.
But it's all melting. It's 60 degrees outside, so it's like that hard snow. It's got a real
because it's
to it.
Crumpled up.
Yeah. And we stopped in Cloudcroft at a little bakery. We got coffee and I think it was a blackberry panini and maybe a strawberry strudel or something like that.
Interesting.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
And the guy that served us, you know those hats that are like the visors, but they've got the hair on top?
Yeah.
He was wearing one of those. So he was wearing one of those.
Oh.
Super cool dude. He was like, all right, tell me if you like it. I want to know. I can add stuff to it. You can change it. And I was like, dude, you made a perfect call. This is amazing.
Don't worry about it.
He was so nice, so cool, really helpful, and that was an absolutely wonderful experience. Just stop there for coffee by happenstance.
And some little dessert pastries.
Because there was no Starbucks nearby.
Oh, true.
Exactly. We would have gone to Starbucks.
But you got a homegrown place.
Yeah. But we went through there and came through western Texas. I think it was starting to get dark as we got to like Odessa. And by the time we were in Dallas, I was like about to pass out. So let her drive. I passed out in the passenger seat for I don't know how long. And before we got to Louisiana, I switched back over. We made it through Shreveport, Ruston. I don't know how.
It's a blur now.
It is very much so a blur.
Like after you pass through Dallas, after you pass through Dallas, it's that point where it's like you're so tired,
and I know everything.
And you're like, I already know what I'm going to drive through, and then it's like, did I fall asleep and just sleep drive through that? And it's like, I don't remember driving through it,
and that's how.
But I didn't wreck, so. But it's that point where it's like your eyes are starting to close, but then all the lights are starting to like do that diagonal thing in your eyes.
And you get a tunnel vision sort of where you focus on the furthest point of the road. Yeah. And you just like,
and you're looking
gotta get there.
You're looking way out there and you're seeing that like yellow marker way in the distance for some reason. There's a bunch in front of you, but you're looking at that one way out there. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Driving so tired and so many hours on the road. To the point where it's like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I'm touching the gas pedal because everything from the waist down is numb. That's the way it is for me. And like, oh, my knees are hurting, but I can't move. I got to keep going,
100%. That's exactly how it was.
Oh, I know that feeling. But you made it back.
Thankfully, made it back and in time for enough sleep that I could go to school and be okay. But I did take a nap at school for sure. In my office. I was tuckered.
You were like, I can't handle it.
No, it was That was a lot of driving. It probably didn't help me as much as I needed it to because I was driving so much.
Exactly.
We didn't have a long break to do that. But it was fun.
It was a fun, quick trip out in the West.
I needed a little excursion. But
because, I mean, the only next break is Thanksgiving and Christmas.
And I can't go anywhere Thanksgiving. And Christmas is my next plan. But
the last day of finals is the 6th.
Yeah.
And then I know that the students come back the 11th of January. So
I got some time over Christmas.
You got...
Maybe I'll make it.
If you don't come back, if you leave the day after, if you were able to leave the 7th and come back the 10th.
Yeah.
That's a month and 3 days. So like 34 days or something like that.
I don't think I'll stay gone that long.
But still, you're flexible because you have over 30 days worth of time. So at least make a full trip or a little bit more, a little bit less.
But I still got to be up here until like the 13th. We got to do grades and all that good stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Got to close down the lab.
And I know the university offices and everything pretty much closes except Starbucks. They're open for a whole nother week after that.
Yeah. Because we need it. We don't need it.
And then you ain't got to worry about students, though, because unless they're at here winter session, which is not a lot, it's usually online, but unless you got like maybe 20 out of 8,000 students that are left on campus, pretty much everybody goes home for the month. But
that's when you get stuff done.
And then that's when the faculty can get lit and go to Starbucks together.
Because you get to working on something, you get an email from a student, you're like, feeling sick. Can I make up a test? Like,
no.
Come on, dude. Well, I don't want to schedule this with you right now. We're like 10 minutes before the class. Why are you emailing me right now?
Yeah.
And I'm like writing up your quiz. I mean, I'll give it to him. I do be writing up the quiz a little bit late, but that's because.
But still,
that's when I get to the classroom where the computer is.
Yeah, and then they're also telling you like, they're just doing that, not even because they're sick. They're just doing that because my alarm just went off. Like I'm not going to be able to make it, and I don't want to make an automatic F on it or whatever.
If you were sick, you could tell me a couple hours beforehand at least.
Yeah, unless you were like in the hospital and you cannot physically communicate to me.
And there ain't none of that.
Exactly. Like,
it's normal.
How often do you get a student that's gonna have to go? Like, there are people that have to go to the hospital or. Like get in a car crash to where the point they can't come to the class. But even when I was a student for pre-COVID, from fall of 2018 to the spring of 2020 when COVID started, there was hardly never. Like there was only one girl I think in one biology class that missed, and it was just because she was pregnant and she had a kid while we were in session.
No, I've got kids missing for everything. One of them is on the track team. So they go off.
Oh, well, that's probably hard when you got sports people.
Yeah. I got some football players.
You going to have any basketball?
I don't know. I might, but
I guess baseball
I don't think I'll have any.
So.
I don't know when basketball season starts.
I thought it was in December.
I might not have to worry with it. I don't know.
You won't have to worry with that until spring.
Next semester, yeah. But yeah, I've got plenty that'll miss for sports, and that's, acceptable. But then you got some that'll just be like, I forgot. I didn't know we had class.
Yeah, I didn't remember. I'm at Chick-fil-A, but I didn't remember I had class.
I mean, you've been going to class for 6 weeks at this point. I don't know if that's how long it's been. It's probably more than 6 weeks, but
it's definitely more.
How are you forgetting?
The last day before Thanksgiving break is 3 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah, we're
that's the
Thanksgiving.
That's the Thanksgiving meal. Like in a whole semester, there are 16 weeks in one semester.
We only had 9 at Tech. It hurts.
Yeah, but y'all were in the quarter system.
I know. I miss it so much
because there were 4 quarters. Was it 9 week a quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in.
But we have a summer quarter as well that we don't necessarily like. I never took a summer class.
Okay.
I did fall, spring, and winter.
Oh, okay. Because we only have fall
and
spring, but it's 16 weeks total with it, which.
So you get 18
total out.
18, and then another 9.
It's 20,
so 27.
So tech technically goes to school more.
Yeah, we get
that's why people
less hours per quarter, though. So we will do about 9 hours per quarter and get 27 hours a year. You guys do about 12, 13 hours, I think?
It's 3 hours a class, and you're supposed to do 12 is the lowest amount you can do to keep tops.
Okay, so you would get
4
about
classes.
24 if you're doing just bare.
If you did,
but if we're doing bare, we get 27.
Exactly.
So we can.
The only way, if you took 15 hours, which is 5 classes a semester, every semester for 4 years, you would graduate on time.
Yeah.
That's if you take no less, you don't fail, and you don't take any more. Most will take more. Most will take 21 hours in a semester, which is 7 classes.
Yeah.
Which is a lot to put on yourself. But also, if you do that for a good while, you'll either have
some burnout
a lesser last semester, or you'll graduate a whole semester early and only do 3.5 years. Like I had to do a little over 4 because I was supposed to graduate in the spring, but I graduated in the summer because I only had 2 classes left. I'm like, I'm not going to go in the fall for 2 classes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even I think I graduated a quarter early. I had some tops left over. And that was just me doing the bare minimum given.
I do know that
I did have 1 quarter of engineering that I didn't use any of those classes. Like I couldn't. They were all engineering classes.
As like an elective, maybe.
I couldn't even do that. I had to go get other electives because they were in a completely different college.
Oh, okay. Because at ULM, as long as it's your elective has to be classes that's just not in your field. Like I was in business because I graduated with marketing. My electives were aviation, which doesn't count as business, I guess. Yeah. And it was a geoscience class where I learned about rocks and formations and stuff like that.
Ours might have been like that, and I just didn't get them to count because they were low grades.
Understandable. Yeah, understandable.
I missed out on a quarter.
That's usually the way it works, though, is that your elective is a class that you take that usually like biology 1 or whatever. That way it's just an easy class,
or
but it
dance appreciation or something.
Or music or art or whatever. It has to be something that's not in your field.
Yeah.
That's all it has to be.
Okay.
And then, of course, your university class and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, so we'll have a trip from you. If you're on in 10 weeks, I think that'll be in like January or something, around the end of January, beginning of February maybe. So have to get another update and then also see how the beginning of spring semester is going. Yeah. So you're almost a whole semester done.
Yeah.
How does it feel to have 1 whole semester almost done as a teacher / grad student?
It's flown by.
It really has. Tomorrow's November 1st as of this recording.
Barely feel like I've
graduated
from tech.
Yeah.
Let alone I'm in graduate school at ULM finishing my first semester 1/4 of the way done with my degree. I'm getting old, man.
Yeah. You're going towards masters.
I know.
And then before you know it, I'll be talking with you, and you'll be like, I can't believe it. I'm almost done with my PhD.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk to you after that, and then you'll be like, how am I a doctor?
Yeah. I'm only like 37.
Exactly. On the
15. I'll probably be like 33 or something.
Around 30, something like that, depending on how long that takes.
Yeah. Just in time for like a 20-year reunion or something.
Exactly. I mean, 2028 is our 10-year.
Yeah. Well, 15. Probably 15-year reunion.
2032?
Yeah. Okay. I'll probably have it by then.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
I will. I will quote you.
You'll be like, where the hell is that doctor, John? Why aren't you doctor right now?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I will. Yeah, I've been a reverend for 2 years, and you can't get the doctor? Yeah, exactly.
Oh
I can officiate people's weddings, and you're not a doctor yet.
If I'm not a doctor, a pilot, and a chef by that age, I've failed. I think I gotta step it up.
Chef, doctor, pilot.
I'm already halfway to pilot. I'm studying for drone's pilot's license.
There you go.
Well, not halfway to pilot. Dude, don't.
I'm quoting you on so much in 10 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and
in 2032,
because
that's in 10 years.
I'm pushing for that.
That's in 10 years. We've been out of high school for over 5 years now.
Oh, I know.
I feel so old, and I'm 23.
I think it's possible.
I'm 2 years away from it being legal that my parents can kick me off insurance.
Dang, dude.
Like, exactly. I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point. It's like, man, I should go ahead and start drawing Social Security now.
Exactly.
I need to stay. My back hurts. Like, I need to go home. But we're getting old.
We are.
That's what we're learning. We're getting old. You're going to be a doctor. We'll have a sick 10-year reunion. I don't even know what we're going to do. Probably not even something with the whole class.
No.
I hardly doubt it's going to be. It's going to be like. There. Yeah, because you're trying to be a doctor. And you're going to learn how to be a doctor. And, well, that'd be in 5 years. You'll have your master's already.
Maybe even 2. And
you'll be on your way to a doctorate.
Yeah.
And you'll probably already be a pilot. Maybe. Hopefully.
No, I don't doubt I'll be a pilot by then.
That's out of those 3, that'll be the first one done.
Yeah.
And then where's the chef fit in?
We'll just work on that.
I wonder if you can do that.
That's a hobby.
I was about to ask something. I was like, well, I wonder if you can get that online.
I'm sure you can, but like...
Do like a Zoom.
I don't know if there's a chef's license, You could just like...
Yeah, well, yeah, they have to give you some certificate, then you get the white robe thing that's got your name. Yeah, and the hat. But you have to have your name engraved.
Yeah.
Or like sewn into it and be like John Wright.
Master chef.
Yeah, master chef or like certified chef.
I doubt we'll get there.
Meaning that you could be hired at any restaurant to be a head chef.
Interesting. I doubt we'll get there in 10 years.
Yeah, because even like you could even be like the head chef for like colleges, and they call him the executive chef. And you'd be the one to make the decisions and not design, but basically you design the foods, tell the people what to cook, and then you would help out cooking, and then to have like a chef special like once a week or something like that.
Imagine if I was aviator, doctor, chef, executive of
What would your doctorate be in?
Probably botany.
So you got a doctorate in botany, you're a head chef,
and a pilot,
and you can fly a drone.
No, I'd be flying planes.
Well, you can fly a plane.
Yeah, we ain't stopping at the drone.
You're going full Boeing.
Yeah, I want my own plane.
Exactly. Well,
not a Boeing. I want a 2-engine aircraft.
If I become a millionaire, and I'm a reverend,
I'll be your pilot.
You can be my pilot, and then put it on autopilot, and then come cook food for me.
Absolutely.
While in this giant plane,
telling you about plants.
And then this is even if I become like you. I would let you become my private chef if I was the president.
Okay. All right.
So that I'm pretty
sure
that's
have to kick some people out of the kitchen in the White House.
I wonder how much that costs, or how much you would get paid.
Probably at least
head
6
chef
figures.
Salary for president of U.S. Let's Google this real quick. The White House executive chef. This was in 2000.
Can I give my guess?
This was in 2005.
$186,000.
Oh, not that much.
Is it not?
No, it was lower.
President's
the executive.
President's $200,000, right?
The president of the United States makes $440,000 a year.
Damn, they need to pay their chefs.
But they don't spend it.
Well, some of them don't.
Mostly the president doesn't spend any money because everything is bought for him. So what it's for is that when you're when you're done either after your 4 years or your 8 years, that's the money you have because you can't work and you're not getting paid. Yeah, well, because as the president, you cannot get. There's so many weird rules.
You get some residual income afterwards.
You do, but it's not a lot. It's not. I mean, it is a lot. It's probably like 100. It's probably like 100,000 or something. Yeah, you write a book, that's millions right there, and then give some speeches, and they'll pay millions for that. But the thing is too that if you get paid $440,000 for 8 years, that's $3.5 million that you're sitting on after 8 years of being president. But the executive chef for the White House it's said around the highest is usually $140,000 a year.
Okay, that's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great. I mean,
well, the thing is, you're cooking for me and my family, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you're technically you would just be cooking for the most important person in the country.
Yeah.
At least it's over $100,000.
You gotta be a very trusted dude, for sure.
Yeah, because I wonder how many times another country has tried to pay off the chef to poison the food.
Yeah, and you got to taste the food too to make sure it's
there is a taster, I think.
What? So the taster's separate from the chef?
It's either you.
I imagine it's that responsibility.
I think it would be you and one of the what are the guards called?
Oh, the Secret Service?
Yeah, I think it's you and a Secret Service member.
That's believable.
Because, I mean, they're the Secret Service, so they're going to put their life on the line. Yeah. They would jump in front of a bullet, you know?
Yeah.
So. But, yeah. So. And then also that rule of that after you become president, you can't drive anywhere.
Yeah.
I know that. George W. Bush has his big ranch out in Texas, and he just drives around in a circle because he bought like a brand new Ford truck after he got being the president. And he said, as long as I stay in these gates, I can drive around. But if we got to go anywhere, the Secret Service. And I was like, oh, that would suck.
It would. But, I mean, if you get you a nice enough back seat, I feel like it'd be...
But they would take you around in the president car. That's they can't take you anywhere else because it has to be a bulletproof car. I mean, you can make any car bulletproof these days.
Yeah, but...
I want one of them cars that's got the back doors or the suicide doors that open backwards, you know? Like, I want one of the, like one of them nice high-end, like, Chrysler cars or, you know.
That's a Bentley that's got those suicide doors.
Yeah, like, get a bulletproof Bentley.
Yeah.
The BB. Yeah. Bulletproof Bentley.
With the moonlight, what is it called?
The sunroof?
Starlight liner?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
then have it where the little screen comes down in the middle.
Yeah.
It's like a privacy screen.
But it's bulletproof, too.
Yeah, so the windshield's bulletproof, so if they make it through that with enough bullets, they have to go through another one. Which they'd have to shoot like a minigun to get through one bulletproof windshield because it has to take... It would break off the sides before it goes through.
Yeah.
Like, it's that kind of stuff, so... Yeah, we can spend a whole time talking about that kind of stuff, so... Well... It was nice having you, John.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
As always, I'm ready and eager to hear your next trip, your Christmas trip.
Of course,
you'll be on. If you're on in another 10 weeks, that will definitely be around the end of January, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And I look forward to all of that, and good luck with earning the master's degree.
Well, thank you.
And you'll be graduated as a master.
I will.
If that's what you got to be called, I guess. Master John. You'll be like a... And you have your Padawans.
I've already been called Master John, which is funny enough.
Yeah.
That was
a joke.
Yeah. It was a joke at med camps.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, it's coming true. You're going to be Master John.
Yeah.
So.
But, hey.
There you go.
We're on the road.
Doing that. I'll be walking across the stage, finally getting the book in December.
Heck yeah!
I already had they mailed me the degree.
Huh.
I just don't. But when I walk, I get the book.
You get the book.
I get an empty book.
Yeah.
So
they gave us the book, and then we went behind stage and we got the actual paper.
Oh, okay. Well, normally I think it's just they give you the paper and the book is what it usually is. But since I graduated in August and I didn't walk until December, they were like, "Oh, well, if you work, you need this degree." So they mailed it to me the week later.
Yeah. Like
mid-August. And then I'm just going to go up there and shake Dr. Berry's hand and get an empty book.
Nice.
So I'm like, yeah, I get the book. So even though I spent $80 on a cap and gown. So hopefully this book's worth it. So thank you for being on again, John.
Of course.
And look forward to you being on again.
Absolutely.
So thank you. As always, please rate and subscribe. And if you're listening on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. And click that bell to get notified when new videos are uploaded. And make sure you follow the Toddcast only on Instagram at _Toddcast_ for all your Toddcast social media needs. Make sure you tell your friends and your family or anybody really to give it a listen. And thank all of you for listening to this episode. And if you want to know what's going to happen next week, well, I guess you're just going to have to tune in to find out. Only on the Toddcast.